stands for Spiritual Teachings on Natural Eclecticism. And we're a paranormal investigation group here in Salt Lake City, Utah. And it takes a lot to be able to do the paranormal. And most of the times when you see on TV, you're seeing you just have your hosts, you have your investigators, you have your cameraman, you have all your equipment. But we here like to take it at a different way of doing things. We have empaths on our teams. We have psychic mediums on our team. We have astrologers on our team, numerologists on our teams. Because we believe that if we go in and to do an investigation, we want to help everybody the best way that we possibly can. We don't want to just go there and say that's a demon or if that's a bad spirit. We want to bring some closure to you when you're, doing the investigation and everything. So I kind of got everybody here with me today. I got Danielle. I got my husband Christopher. He's an investigator. And I have my best friend right here, Evelyn. She's also an empath and everything on the group. Say hi, Evelyn.
Good morning, good morning.
Yes, man. Danielle, say hi, man.
Hi, guys. I'm friends with Gwen. I'm also co-founder of Rocky Utah Paranormal. And we kind of collaborated on this, and this has been fun.
I know everybody's got their jitters and their nerves and what's going on. And I have my husband has been with me for the last 10 years with Stone Paranormal. We first started out as a teaching collective. And as a teaching collective, we taught everything from Celtic, Egyptian, Norse, magic, paganism, voodoo, Santeria, anything that you can possibly think of on a spiritual level. And so we took all of that into play when we started Stone Paranormal, is that we wanted to take everything from a different perspective. And also at this presiding time for the second season of Ghost Vlogs that is now on Amazon Prime, I'm the psychic medium there. And then you can also check us out on Vindy, which is the Nick Groff and the channel that he has that's going on. And so today I want to talk to you guys a lot about, because a lot of people have a misconception about what the paranormal is. And I want to bring it to the point being is that I understand that when you do your investigation, and when you go about doing your investigations, I know there's protocols, there's things that you should do during your investigation, but the point being is that you have to understand the history first of the place that you're investigating, because sometimes you could be walking into something that is not the greatest thing in the world. It could be demonic, it could be a good spirit, it could be a wayward spirit, it could be a wraith, it could be a lot of things, but you have to protect yourself. You have to think about, how am I going to protect myself? How am I going to protect my auric field? How am I going to protect the people that are with me? Because people don't understand is that when they say attachments can attach to a lot of things. It can attach to you. It can attach to inanimate objects. It can be the house. It can attach to your car. You got to think about what you are bringing home to your family after you do an investigation. That's why we said this was Stone Paranormal, the aftermath. Because the part being of an investigation is that we already know that a lot of people think that we're quacks. We think that this is not real, this is not happening. But I'm like, if we are living, then what makes you think that after we die, we don't go on? And how do we don't know that if we're sitting there and if a spirit has been around for a long period of time, how do we, just like us, that spirit gets angry? So we got to think about all of these things that are going on, and we have to think about on a spiritual level, not just a physical level, but we have to think about it on a spiritual level of what's going on with these spirits. And I can't sit there and say cosign to people sitting there saying everything is a demon. Everything is not a demon. Everything is not evil. So you can't go into an investigation automatically thinking just because you want ratings that you're going to say that everything is evil. You can't do that. You have to look at the situation. You need to know the history, and that's why I got these certain people around me, so that when we go into an investigation, we look at everything. We look at where the water is running. We look and see if there's quartz under the ground. We look and see if there's any mountains around, and we also look and see if it was a Native American ground. Because a lot of times people don't understand that the Native Americans walked a lot longer than we did, and that the ground was a lot sacred. And I'm more and more being from Florida that I'm understanding about Utah, and I'm beginning to understand is that Utah has a lot of sacred ground. And there's a lot of rights that have been infringed upon on this ground. So if you go and you take these people's ground from them, and you take their land from them, you take their ancestry from them, and you go build a house or you go mining, minerals that they've already had and they already knew that was here, then I think they're gonna have some pissed off spirits. That's just the way that it's going to go. And then they're going to sit there, and now they're no longer in the physical world, that they're in that natural world, that where they go into the motherlands, the guided lands, heaven, however you want to think about it. And now they're pissed. Okay, that's just the way that it goes. And so if you have these spirits that can now possess your body, and can possess your objects, or they can possess the things that are around you, then guess what you're going to do? You're taking that negative energy and you're taking it home with you.
Right, that's very true. And so you say that your grandfather, for instance, was a very loving, warm, kind person, but he's been on the earth for a long time, and he has failed to see the light to go on. He turns angry, and then that entity that was once light becomes dark, and that is what I feel. So I can feel his darkness, I can feel his anxiousness, him wanting to leave. I also could smell whatever it is, that perfume, whether he smoked a cigar, a cigarette, and that lets me know that he or she is around me, and then I give those clues so that we know how to further go on our investigations.
And I'm actually a social worker, so I come with a different perspective of also looking at supporting our clients with any referrals, because even those are investigators, they dealing with these individuals, they can have like an experience that kind of shocks their system that you weren't expecting. And also being empathic and sensitive to things, I can pick up on things that the spirits are wanting too. And I also advocate a lot of respect and a lot of the things that social workers do to empower people with coping skills of anxiety and depression is the same principles that we can use for our clients, because they've been told they're crazy, that what they're experiencing does not really happen, but it does. They're experiencing experience, and they need some validation in that, and they need to have some empowerment, because they've lost their sense of self, their core belief system sometimes, and we need to empower them again to take back their lives, because you can't live with spirit and still claim your boundaries and coexist with everybody else. It's the same principles.
And a lot of times when they think about their boundaries, you got to think about the physical location that is attached to what they say that is mine. And then you got to think, that's why when a lot of times in paranormal investigations, you see that there's a lot more activity when you change the house, or you change the land, or you cut down a tree, or you go in there and you move furniture, or you do something that takes them out of their norm. So what's the first thing they're going to do? They're going to get angry. And then that's when people start to understand is that the most receptive ones in a that's in the house that is going to get with the paranormal investigation are the children, because the children, their eyes are open. And if their eyes are open, then they're going to feel and they're going to see, and those spirits are going to be attached to them. And that's why when I say that when you go and you're doing an investigation, you have to look at everything as a whole. You can't just look at it as just a partial. And a lot of times now it seems that this is becoming to the point where everybody is like, it's all about ratings. It's all about the show. It's all about getting that money. It's all about getting that exposure on TV. It's all about, but then again, if you ask them, how do I get rid of this? Oh, the first thing they tell you is, oh, let's go get some sage. Well, I'm going to tell you something. Sage going to piss some of them spirits off of their negative entity, okay? They're going to eat that up just like it's some Cheerios or it's some Fruit Loops or any of them things like this, and they're going to be like, okay, I got you. People think that they need to go provoking spirits to come out. How can you provoke something if it's already there? How can you provoke something that is already angry? So you're going to go there and piss this spirit off or piss this entity off, and then all of a sudden, guess what? You're on the radar. Then everybody that's with you in your investigation is on that radar. People, there's many tales of people saying that, you know what? I felt this, I went home, and I felt worse. Well, what do you do after that? What is it that you do when the sage isn't working? The holy water isn't working, or you know what, and my saying is saying, I need an old priest and a new priest. That's not working. Okay, the second step is like, oh, this person needs an exorcism. How can you exorcise something that you know nothing about if you don't do your research? And that's what we here at Stone Paranormal, we do. We do our research. If someone comes and they say, my child is getting scratched, I can't sleep at night, everything is going on right now, things are moving in my house, certain things are happening during the demonic hours, which is from, in my religion, is you do good 30 minutes before 12 o'clock, and after 12 o'clock, that's their time to 333. That's the demonic hour. And during that hour and during that space and during all that time, that's when all the activity is going to happen. That's when they're going to come out, they're going to show out, they're going to do what they're going to do. People always messing with stuff that they don't understand and that they don't want to have nothing to do with. Okay? They go into these investigations and they sit there and they say, okay, I'm going to go because I want to show the world that it exists. Hello, there's ghost reports from eons of time where people have seen paranormal and people have investigated, but then it was clergy members, there was priests, there were these people that they call to help them, and that's when they come in and they say, okay, I need an exorcism. Well, if you don't know what you're exorcising, how do you know you're getting rid of it? How do you know? And so me as a psychic medium, okay, this is something that has come from me, from my grandmother, and from my great-grandma. I can trace back who I am and where my mediumship and all these things came from. And it's the point being is that it's not something that is like I just woke up and I read a book about it. No, this was something that I was born with from the moment that I was a little girl. I can remember the first time when my grandfather passed away, and I looked at my mama and I said, Mama, I said, is my granddaddy gone? And my mama said, no, he's in the hospital. And I'll be danged. Time I got to my grandmama's house, my granddaddy was gone. And from there, it just seems that it just keeps getting stronger and stronger. And so I took that time and I started the research on the spiritual. And it wasn't so much as that I always tell people that I'm backwards. Is because I don't go to the point being of saying, oh, I know all these machines. Oh, I know EVP. I know all this technology. That's fine and dandy. But what I got was God-given. It was given to me from birth, and it was given to me through my ancestors that I can trace it back so that I can help other people. When I go and I do my investigations, or I go and I look at things, I always open up my eyes and I said that, you know what, I want to communicate with who is here. I want to give you that respect to let you know that I'm coming in your house. Okay, it's not the point being that I'm barging into your house or barging into your space. That's like if somebody come into your house and they just open your door and walk into your house. That's disrespectful. You ain't gonna like that. Then you're gonna get bucked, you're gonna get crazy, a lot of things are gonna happen. But it's the point being is that when I go in there, I see a lot of things, and because of my spirituality and because of the things that I do, I know how to deal with these things, and I know I've taken the time to research and to teach other people how to get rid of and to remove negative energy. And that's what a lot of people have to understand is how do you get rid of negative energy? And it goes back to me telling you before, if you don't know what it is, then how are you going to get rid of it? How do you know the evolution of the change of those spirits if you don't know who you're talking to or what you're going about or what you're doing? And I think that that's what's wrong with a lot of people nowadays is that this has become such a gimmick. It's become, a lot of people in the community, everybody's trying to one up everybody, and I'm like, it's not about you. You did this for a reason because number one, you wanted to know about the paranormal, and number two, you wanted to help people. It's like if you go and do a charity or you do anything out there in this world, and you're doing it because you want to help people. It's like I sit here and I say that, everybody, all they worry about is that, oh, if I got all these people watching me. It's not about the people watching you. You got to take a step back and you got to think about what it is that you're doing and why you're going out there and you're doing it. And that's why I feel that if during an investigation, we as a people, you need to have the right tools around you, because sometimes it's not all about the technical tools. It's about the insight of human beings, the people that have gifts. So yeah, I bring pagans around me. Yeah, I bring witches around me. Yeah, if you're into voodoo, I bring you around me. Yeah, if you're an empath, I'm gonna bring you around me. Yeah, if you're a social worker, or I don't care, because that's the point being, is because it's not just me. It's it's a different perspective in all things in order to make that investigation or to see that investigation. And so that's why I sit there and I look at these things and I said, Stone Paranormal, I said, I'm not going to go out there and be like everybody else. I can't be like everybody else. You know, if somebody come and they ask me a question, I'm going to know exactly what I'm talking about. And that's what I want the people around me to do. And that's the kind of image that I want to give to the people or the clients that we are helping. That if you come in there and you got a dang demon in your dang house, guess what? I'm the person to talk to, because I know how to get rid of it. Through all my spirituality and through all my things and all my teachings and everything. Somebody come and tell me, I said, the first thing to do, shut up and let's find out where it's coming from. Real talk. You got to sit there and I'm like, you know what? If you're noticing there's different spots in your house, if your animals and your dogs are acting crazy, then maybe that's where you need to be going at, and you need to isolate that corner. And people need and then you got to start thinking about it. Okay, that if this is a brand new house and I just bought this house, then just say then did you go to an antique store? Did your grandmama or somebody give you something? You know, did you go into an attic somewhere? Did you bring something back with you? And people, they don't think about these little things, okay? Little children the people can go walking in the graveyard and they be like, okay, well, my religion, if you go into the graveyard, you give respect to the dead. We give them coins. We give them these things. They say, thank you. We're coming in here to honor you. I can tell you how many times I've just gone and laid flowers down or cleaned people's graves or did these things like this because nobody else would do it. But my spirit led me there. So that's just like if you're in your house and you got a bad spot that's there.
And that's another thing to think about is the people who build your house have energy too. Things stay within the framework of the structure themselves. Because how many times just randomly have you gone into construction and seen garbage? Well, that garbage is an imprint from them. We leave energy wherever we go. I mean, even if you don't believe in any of it, how many of you have walked into a toxic room right after an argument and can feel it? It's just oozing. You don't have to be sensitive to see it. You just know it. Your core just knows what's going on. So construction workers, they could have left something that you didn't know about. And maybe there was a conflict. Like maybe there was a fight and there was an accident that you did not know happened on the property or in the construction area alone. That won't be recorded in history. So being aware that there's layers and layers of stuff that are always going on, you have to be cognitive of that.
We just had a situation where my son was experiencing some issues in his bedroom, and even though all of my knowledge and things that I know how to do, I was too close to the situation, so I immediately call Gwen, and I'm like, Gwen, this is what's going on. And so she tells me exactly what's going on and what to do, and we do it, but because we knew the history of the person that we were dealing with. We knew who he was and what he was doing, and the reason why he was there, and the reason why he needed to go. My sons are very open. They're very light. They're empathic. They see. They're seers. They hear. They smell. They do it all. So entities are always very drawn to them, and they're getting scratched. And so Gwen has really helped mold them and helping them mold them to what they need to do. But we ended up getting rid of it that night. But you know, if you're not aware of your surroundings, and if you're not aware of the people that you're with, you may not notice the slightness of change in their personalities. But you know, it was like instant for us. We saw it. It was like from one moment to the other. The minute that I removed him from that area, his personality went all the way back to the way he was. It was amazing to see. But once again, I was really close to the situation. Even all of my knowledge, I needed someone else. You have to take ego out of it and be willing to reach out and say, Gwen, I need your help. Or, you know, I need your help.
Danielle, come assess the situation, please.
Help me.
And you know what? And that's the funny thing about it is that That's the main thing I'm trying to tell you, people, is you got to take the ego out of this. Investigation ain't got nothing to do with the ego. It has nothing to do with, oh, me, look at me, look at me, look at me. Well, you know what? If it was all about look at you, look at you, look at you, then maybe you should have been in a different profession. Okay, straight up. You shouldn't have been coming up and saying, oh, I'm going to go and take somebody else's sorrow and make it into my game. Okay, because some of these people are traumatized, okay? When you go and you look, I mean, like, they're freaking out. They like, wait a minute, my dogs are dying, my, cats, people, and then the first thing that everybody say, well, oh, maybe it's something satanic. No, maybe it's not something satanic. Maybe you need to look at what's going on in your situations and in your surroundings, okay? And sometimes when people go into investigations, it's not always just the house. Okay, you got to think about all the things that compound into that. You got to look at it like, is it a quartz bed? Okay, let's take Utah for instance. Okay, it's a mining town. It was built on mining. Okay, I'm from Florida, and that's the first thing I knew, is that there was all kinds of liquid magma and ore and all this other good that was going on out here in these mountains. Okay,
and silver and
gold,
copper.
Silver, uranium.
I come in and tell Gwen, I go, Gwen, did you know? La la la, because I'm a native Utah and I do a lot of history. I'm the historian, and she's like, whoa. I'm like, I go, remember I told you about so and so? It's connected to this mine. It's connected to that mine. It's like there's a pattern. There's a thread. There's a causality, and you can literally start seeing a bigger picture. Yeah, we're having individual experiences, but there's a whole puzzle piece that's being formed here. So your history of Utah?
I know, because the history, and I'm going to tell you something, Utah is a big grid. It's on a grid for a reason. Everything leads to everything here in Utah. I still can't figure out the streets around in Utah, but I know that they all lead somewhere around here, okay? Before you know it, like I said, they say, where you at? I said, I live on the Harriman Mountains. Or I was like, that's the Cottonwood Mountains. That's like how I do things. And if you think about it, all that underground water, all those hot springs, all these ley lines and all these things that are going on, all these railroads that were bringing all these different nationalities of people in here to work, okay? And like, we were just in Magna haunted as hell. I'm not gonna even lie to y'all. Okay, Magna, that's the hot spot over there. Okay, I went up into that cemetery over there and my legs were shaking. I said, hold on now, I need to go back in my trunk.
How many of you know what cemetery she's talking about?
Okay.
Yeah, we all know.
And I'm gonna tell you, I was there, and I felt like a supernatural moment that I had to go in my trunk and get my stuff. Okay, because there was something that was first thing I seen was the big cross and all that stuff that was there, and then it's like all of a sudden I just heard all these spirits that were just calling me, like they was unrest. But the thing about it is that the spirits that I felt were old mining spirits. They were people like old prostitutes and old miners and children that died of like diseases and all these things like that. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, I said, I know ain't none of y'all trying to jump on me and come home with me today. I said, I'm not with this. I said, I'm just here to just check out and see, hello, how you doing, bye-bye, see ya, and be going about my business, but that's not the way that it was. And then it wasn't until I did the history of Magna that I found out that Magna was a little hot spot.
And then I come in and give you all the extra stuff that you didn't find out because my group's done a lot of history as well. I mean, even Copperton Cemetery, that's my favorite cemetery. I mean, I got a lot of gamblers, and it's funny if you think about gamblers and charlatans, but there's a lot of kids cemeteries there that just didn't go anywhere. So there's both an equal balance of good and negative in that thing. It's almost like you're in a teeter-totter depending on the element of night you're in.
And that's another big cemetery that the reason that I think this is all boiling to in the aftermath is because I have to find out where these people came from. So the first thing I'm going to do is go to a museum. I'm going to find out about the history. I'm going to find out about the lay of the land. Then I'm going to go to the cemetery. And then I'm going to walk around the cemetery. And I'm going to tell you something. I've never seen a cemetery like I seen the Salt Lake Cemetery up there by the avenues. I got locked up in there one night. Okay, that cemetery is so big. And then they found out that a lot of the founding members of the church and a lot of things are buried up there. Just like my next one that I'm for Stone Paranormal, we're looking at Eureka. I know everybody's saying Eureka, everybody's done Eureka, but there's a lot of craziness that go with Eureka before Eureka was even Eureka. And that's what and me being from Florida, and I know this, and a lot of the people who helped along that, like Mr. Potter, who was the angel of death, people don't know about it. He buried right there in that Salt Lake Cemetery.
Or Power to Rockwell, if you didn't know. Look 'em
Okay,
up.
and I'm telling you, it's like, and I looked at all of this and I started doing all of these, like I said, my ley line work is like, I looked at the grid, is that everything is gridding off from the top of that hill and it goes down. Even these people that had houses here in Salt Lake City, they would literally get those houses picked up and moved to their family houses, moved to So think about that kind of energy that is being moved. That, and then you got to think about all of this stuff that's going on. And so Eureka has just been on my mind. And it's like the first thing I said is I wanted to go see the cemeteries. I wanted to know about the Native Americans that were there before that. Because before everybody else went mining there, those natives knew what was on that land. Okay, they knew what ores, they knew what, spiritual, they knew what energies was there. And then all of a sudden, guess what? They ain't there no more. And somebody else is mining their land. So now, if you think about it like that, don't you think if you spent your whole life and that was given to you by your ancestors and your people, and then somebody came and took that away from you, you'd be pissed. Really, I mean, seriously. And people don't take that into consideration when they're doing things. And then they think about, why people have died there. What has made all this, and why is there so much unrest? Because I'm gonna tell y'all a little secret. When you're dealing with Native Americans, they're not just dealing on the physical, they dealing on Gaia, they dealing on this earth level. That means that they can change things. They work with the weather, they work with the animals, they know about the skinwalkers, they know about the shiftings of the energies and all those things like this.
I think one of the favorite places that I visited so far that we've investigated was Skinwalker Ranch.
Yeah, Skinwalker Ranch. You don't even want to go there.
That was pretty cool. If you go to skinwalker.org, you can actually see what you can experience. There's like 12 different things, and they give you the radometer about which ones you could possibly experience. And when we went there, we experienced pretty much everything. And I just want to let people know too to join our group, Stone Paranormal Community on Facebook. We're always looking for suggestions of places to go and check out. Join other ghost groups to join in the fun with us. So don't forget, we got Stone Paranormal Community on Facebook as well.
And so you know what? Right now, I know we've been sitting here talking, and I know anybody that know me know that I'll be going. So I want to know: is there any questions out there? If anybody's had any experiences that they've gone into a haunted place and they've taken home with them? Has anybody?
And if we can't hear you,